let's talk seed starting trays. And that's what's going on at Noah's house. Hi, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to the bench. It is mid to end January and well, it's still a little bit snowing outside. I think we got 2.5, 3 inches overnight. It's 20 degrees and it's going to snow all day. It's a Friday afternoon. I'm off work and I got something in the mail the other day and I said, oh man, I really got to talk about that. So, because I'm very excited to get what I got. And yes, that's proper English. Well, hey, beginning of the video, now you're here. Please like, subscribe, share the channel around, share the videos around, get some more people commenting on how bad of a gardener I am or how cool I am. But what I want to talk about today are seed starting trays. And, well, the choices are endless, to be honest. And I have on my bench, which I tried to figure out, 20 minutes to try to set this camera up. And this is the best that came up. So I'll pick everything up to you. I got my super duper light on, which I made my pepper starting video. If you guys haven't seen that, I'll throw a card up for that one. It looks like I made it in the cave, but I was trying a different lighting thing that I don't think worked really well. So I got all the shop lights on today. But what I want to talk about, the reason I want to talk about seed starting trays is I want to show you the Cadillac trays I have that I got in the mail. And I will leave everybody's links and descriptions and everything down below. So first and foremost, you don't even really need trays to start seeds. I mean, I remember being a kid and getting the egg cartons, and you could start seeds right in there. If you have little, plastic cups, if you have, there's a million different things you can use. We don't need a specific 10 cells or whatever. But after you garden for a while, if you're into starting your own plants, getting some good top quality seed trays is paramount, as my chief warrant officer used to say. Safety is paramount. So what do I have? First, I just want to show you these. And these are ones you can get at local garden center, possibly a big box. I got these at a local garden center. They're super cheap. Actually, I hate the word cheap. Let's just call them inexpensive. And these all came, they were actually all stuck together. And I just kind of ripped them apart, and they come apart in 4s. And these are all designed that they were all square up, and they will all fit in the ubiquitous, if you don't know what this is, which if you're watching the channel, you probably do, the 10-20 tray. So you can get these, and they just go in here, like so. And you can get 4 across, 4 this way, to get 8 in there. But herein lies the problem with these. They're inexpensive. So this kind of happens. And you pick them up, and when you're trying to get your plants out of the bottom, well, all they have are a couple of drainage slits, which are nice and everything, and but they're not environmentally friendly, because you're going to be buying these probably every year, unless you're like me. I try to save and reuse everything because, well, I think it's just more effective. And you can get these ones. I got those. I have a ton of these little guys, and these came in big packs, and once again, they all stack up and fit in the 10-20 tray. I'm going to keep saying 10-20 tray because there's a reason. But these ones I like because they were smaller. They take less compost to start, but once again, to get them out, all you have are those little slits, and that's for drainage. But once again, you can get a bunch of them, stack up in there. Not bad, but once again, not going to last you very long. I have ones that were a little bigger. Same thing, slits in the bottom. I have a ton of seed starting trays. And I'm calling them trays because I don't really know what else you want to call them, cells or whatever. And then I have a ton of these. Not exactly the same, but these were flowers that I bought. So I poke the flowers out, I plant them in the garden, I pot them up, put flowers around. Well, I don't throw anything out, it seems. So I save these. I have, what do you call it? Little potting up. Hold on. These. I have 2 sizes of these. These are the smaller ones. And this is what I use, if you watch my gardening videos, when I pot up my peppers and I pot up my tomatoes. I use these little guys. And they're actually pretty good. I've had these for several years. And I have the bigger one too. And I bought them off of Amazon. and they're pretty inexpensive, and you get a lot of them. I have a ton of them. I have a ton I've never thrown out of the box because, well, I just don't need to. I just reuse these, and I write on them, and once in a while they get bad. These are also good because they're inexpensive, along with things like this and like this. Say you start some up, and you want to give them to your neighbor, you want to give them to a friend at work, you know, whoever, your mom, your cousin. If you give them this stuff and they don't give it back, okay, you're out a couple pennies. Not so bad. So let's go on the progression, at least what I did in my gardening journey. So years ago, and my daughter just made a comment this morning. She said, Dad, they have to be 20 years old. They've been around my whole life. My daughter's 20. I'm going to say they're probably 20 years old. And I got these from Burpee, and I got these at like big box store. And there's 2 of these, and I do believe you get a total of 72. And the thing I really always liked about them is small. Like I said, not a lot of compost or medium has to be used. And I've learned this over the years from Charles Dowding. Keep his name right here in your ear. And Charles Dowding always says the smaller the better. It's less the roots got to spread, all that stuff when they're starting out. And he's, you know, for potting up, it makes it better. These, the same thing. See the tiny little hole? I can't get my finger in there. I usually use part of a chopstick to pop them out. Initially, when I bought these, they came with coconut core, and only coconut core. And, you know, you wet it and you did all that, and that's what you planted your seeds in. I'm going back many, many moons. I left my seedlings in there. I was like, these are doing terrible. What is this stuff? Well, I never potted them up. But this came in a system, and you can still buy things similar to this, but I think these are actually better quality than what they're selling at the big box stores now. Because you got these, and then you got this crazy looking thing, which sat in its own 1020 tray, like so. And then you have this mat. Now, you put the mat, excuse me, you put the mat over there, and it goes in, actually it's upside down. You put the mat in like so, and what that does is you fill it up with water, the mat gets wet, it wicks it up, and it's always watering your seedlings. It's a pretty good system. I don't always use it, but I do use these trays. And then it also, just to button it off, I think this was called like the Burpee greenhouse system. It has a little dome. So it's kind of what you get. It's self-watering. You just got to keep that, you know, leveled up and, you know, check that out. That was my first, let me check. That was my first good seed starting system that I bought. So it's not even seed starting trays. That was a system. And I initially bought 3 of them. So I used to start a lot of seeds. And I have started over the last 20 years, hundreds and hundreds of seeds in these little guys. Then I was like, they're too big. I need something smaller. So I used to get, there's a company called Lee Valley Tools. They sell all these really cool woodworking tools and stuff like that. So the one year I was like, ooh, I got this. Now, this is made out of like a styrofoam. Definitely tough. Oh, that was another thing about the Burpees. I didn't show you these. See, there's just that plastic, and I picked 2 of my better ones to show you. I should have picked the worst ones. But that was making me mad. So I got these. Now, these styrofoam, like I said, and I've used these, gotta be 15, 16, 17 years. Now, this also came in a system. Aha! Same thing. As the mat goes down, wicks up, self-watering. They show in the picture that, see these right here? Well, that's the poke your seedlings out. Try not to get, see how that, yeah, that's going to poke your seedlings out. Never actually used it. But then that goes in your tray. Oh, I got dust and dirt flying around. And the cool thing about this was, I never had to take it apart to figure out how much water was in there. See how it fits nice and tight? Because in these corners right here, there's this little guy that goes in, and it has a little thing that raises and lowers to let you know the water level in there. So you get that. You put that on top like so. And it comes with its own little dome. So once again, another system. And this was a pretty cool system. And I started using that for a long time just for my tomatoes. But once again, the cells seemed a little too big for me. I wanted something smaller. So I do start a lot of peas and beans and some of the bigger seeds. I've started a ton of peppers in there and everything. And the thing is, it's that styrofoam, so it's stout. It's not bowing, moving around. It works out really well, and I still use it to this day. Well, then I really started getting into gardening a few years ago. Raised beds, and I found Self-Sufficient Me, Epic Gardening, James Prigioni, Homesteading Downunder, and Charles Dowding. And I was like, wow. So I go on Amazon. I said, I need to get me some better seed starting trays. I'm not looking for a system, just trays. And I found these. These I looked the other day just for the heck of it. I wanted to see how much I paid for them. I didn't pay a lot. These aren't even available anymore. Now these, if you look, they're a little flexible. It's pretty stout. The only thing was, see these holes? Yeah, they weren't that big when I got these trays. So I couldn't get in there to pop my seedlings out. So I got a spade bit and I drilled all of them out. And I think I have 1, 2, 3. I have some over there. I think I have 6 of these. A couple of them have busted cells and stuff like that. But all works out well, and they are designed to fit into the 10-20 tray. Noah, how many 10-20 trays do you have? A lot. Because they do get old, they get cracked, and they start leaking. And now mine are at the age where I never do less than 2 together in case one of them is leaking, because I do put a lot of my starts upstairs in our one room. It gets a lot of sun because I don't have enough room down here in the shop. It's a seed starting situation. I have about 6 of these. One thing I don't like about these, see how big the cell itself is. It takes a lot of compost in there, and the more I read, and Charles Dowding talks about it, the smaller the better. It just helps the roots go out real quick and get around. Then you can pot them up. But for the initial start, I don't think you need a cell that big. So I start getting obsessive about things, and I started on this last year. I looked around and I looked around and I looked around, and I really like, man, what am I going to get? Last year, Kevin from Epic Gardening came out with his own 6-cell trays, seed starting trays. Charles Dowding finally settled on a company, excuse me, I have so much dirt flying around, that built his trays to his specifications, how he wanted them, how he liked them. I'm like, oh man, it's Charles Dowding's trays. At first, I looked on his site and everything. They would not ship them to the United States because, if you don't know, he is in England, he's in the UK. And then they were like, okay, well, maybe we'll ship them, but the shipping was, it wasn't worth it. So then I'm doing a search, and I find all about the garden. I will leave a link to them down below. I don't think they have a YouTube channel or anything. I'll do a little research on that, but I will leave their website address down below. And I do believe they are in Brenham, Texas, in the United States. Licensed seller to sell the Charles Dowding seed trays. So I put my order in. As I said in my pepper video, I really wanted to use them for my peppers, but I waited too long. I hem-hawed around, and I didn't get them yet. Well, I got them. Well, you can tell because I was reading the invoice. I didn't know what to buy. There's a 60, a 30, and 15s. Sounds good. Well, they sell like a little mixer pack where you get a 60, a 30, and 2 15s. So check these out. I'm going to bring these up. Oh my gosh, I have them all stuck together. I'm going to show them to you, and you'll probably figure out what my next thing I'm going to say is. So we'll start with the 15s. 2 15s. Excuse me. 2 15s. And one thing I do want to show you about these. Look at that. Look how they are. I think if you set them on the ground, I could stand on them. I don't know if I drive a vehicle on them. But these are tough. They're taut. Check out the holes. Really nice size holes for popping up your seedlings. So I got 2 15s. I got the 30. And look at the size of them too. Look, you're not using a lot of compost in there. Just the right amount. You can tamp them down and do your thing. That's the 30. And here is the 60. They're nice, they're tight, they're compact. See how there's hardly any flex in there? They are seriously built to last. And that was the biggest thing I was really looking for. These are gonna last. But you figure out where I'm going with this? I'll just show you. Here's the 60 in the 1020 tray. I gotta look up, great English, Noah. I have to look up all about the garden because I didn't read what trays I guess these were designed to go in. It still works. I can throw my 60 in there. I can throw a 15 in there. I can put, you know, my 30 and 2 15s, and I have enough 1020 trays. So I'm trying to think about a little greenhouse type situation. When I start stuff in the summer, I have a table out there that's netted that I put stuff on. So I don't always use the 1020 trays once summer hits. So that's the only thing, and I'm going to show you in comparison. Charles Dowding, Amazon seed starting trays. So I'm thinking if he would have went with the big full size, this would be 120 probably. But these are so tough. I'm going to have these. I'm going to be giving these to my daughter and my grandkids probably, or my son and his kids, because they are so tough. They nest together very nice. And I simply can't wait to use these. I did find my potting compost that I like to use. I'm going to sift some. I'm going to look through today. Probably not this weekend, but coming up, it's going to get down when we're starting some seeds. We're going to get the tomatoes going pretty soon. We're going to get cabbage. We're going to get everybody going. I already have the peppers over there. None have sprouted yet. Like I said, watch that video. But I just really wanted to talk about seed starting trays and seed starting systems and the progression I've gone through in the last 20 years to get to where I'm at right now. Really like to say thank you to Charles Dowding for he spent a lifetime basically creating these. They are plastic. I don't want to hear anything about that, but these are going to last a lifetime. But if you don't have the resources to get something of this quality, and this package right here, which is 4 total trays, was $40, and it was around $10 or $11 to ship it to Western Pennsylvania. So not super expensive, not super cheap, because you can go right up to your big box store, your Lowe's, your Home Depot, and you can buy something like this. I would suggest you get some of these. Excuse me. Something a little smaller, like I said. Go for smaller to start your stuff and then pot it up. So if you haven't started any seeds yet, check out one of these systems. Look at Lee Valley Tools. They still sell these styrofoam ones, which I think are really, really nice. And that is like the perfect little size for certain things that I start. My old Burpee ones, I'll keep them around until I just can't keep them around anymore. But if these work out, which I really hope they do, I plan on getting some more and maybe transitioning my whole seed starting setup to these Charles Dowding seed trays. I just wanted to talk about this, get people involved, go out to your big box store if you have to, if that's all you have. There's all kind of seed starting domes and systems there as well. Go online, do a search, seed starting trays, look at Amazon, look at all the stuff. Go to All About the Garden and look at their stuff. They have tools as well. All their stuff is top quality. That's about all I have on this cold January Friday. I'm going to start some seeds. I can't wait. Well, hey, I'm Noah from the bench. Thanks for stopping by.